All right, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the September 26th meeting of the Carver COA Board of Directors here at Meeting Room 1. And let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Take off my glasses so I can see what's going on. I'd say anybody wishes to make public comments? Going once, going twice. We have such a huge crowd. Never mind. Okay, first off, we'd like to welcome a new member of our board, Kathy Gallimore. And who's texting me during a meeting? How rude. All right, and so, Kathy, welcome to the board. Looking forward to having you on, and hopefully we'll be getting more members at our next meeting, but we'll make do with what we got. Next on the agenda is discussion about the proposed spaghetti dinner that we originally had planned. This is discussion and vote. We had this originally when Donna, our previous chair and then vice chair, had suggested it, and we were thinking of doing it in September. But they're pretty much gone with that now. Is that something we want to think about maybe doing again next year, or just not worry about it?
Well, I don't think we should worry about it for the fall because it's too late. But requires some coordination with Old Colony with the, I think that's where we were going through, right? The meal preparation and everything, so.
I'd just be concerned about the cost because it's not something that you could charge for. We can't raise money.
Right.
That's right.
So it would have to be, I would.
Want to use the microphone, please, Connie?
I would recommend, if anything, appealing. I think the school would have obviously the need for us to support the cost of the supplies if they even were provided the service of cooking the food and serving the food. Whether you could get a sponsorship with like a Mamma Mia's or somebody that might be willing to do, and I know other restaurants provide sponsored meals and events at other COAs, so I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't have to just be Old Colony because
I think
Carver
actually,
has, its own culinary department.
That's true, they do.
No.
And they're always, doing things, basically they handle the costs because it's a public donation.
Oh, is that true? I thought that there was.
They often put on dinners for emergency services,
okay.
police, fire, EMS. They do that at least once a year.
Good. Okay.
It
So
could
that
be
might be
sponsored by the student council because they're always looking for things to do for the community. So
Yeah, I was just worried about the cost because the board obviously doesn't have the budget, and we can't charge anyone coming to it as if like a fundraising situation.
Right. And we did have expenses this year with the tea and even with the Carver night out. You handled those
Yeah,
expenses.
we went over the $500 budget that we had originally, so.
note to self, put in for a budget of $1,000 next year. What do you think?
Is it that
Kathy?
easy? They'll give us $1,000?
No.
No, the town.
That's what I mean. Will the town
It would be,
give us money?
we'd put in for it as part of our, COA BOD budget.
Just aside, what is Old Colony Place and where?
No, Old Colony Regional,
High school.
Oh,
high
it's a
school.
They have a culinary department, yeah.
And then the Carver
Culinary major.
High School has a culinary department.
High school. And where is Old Colony High School?
Rochester.
Rochester.
Kids from Carver,
Go up there.
Wareham.
My granddaughter's a senior there this year.
Yeah,
okay.
see, so, yeah, that's a.
So is it like a magnet school?
No, it's a regional
It's a
voc
regional.
tech school.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
Carver, Lakeville, Marion, and Rochester.
Rochester. Okay, so why don't we just put that up for discussion for next year some point?
Okay.
And, at least maybe early, in the spring, put out feelers saying we'd like to do this in the fall, and just check with both the schools and see what would be involved with that.
And who's this being put on for?
Huh?
Who's being invited to
This
come?
this would be
seniors.
for the seniors.
Oh,
in
okay.
town.
Well, that'd be nice.
So. All right, so basically, we're thinking a motion to table this to the spring sometime?
I move that we table this discussion until the spring.
I second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none? So moved. Aye. Wait a minute. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, thank you. All right, core values. This is something that's been hanging over our head for a few months now, and where we don't have a full complement, we not going to make too much progress on it, especially since we have a brand-new member, Kathy, who's not really up on it.
Well, she is prepared with some, I gave her some information up front.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I read whatever it is you gave me. I was a little confused about some of it, but
now, maybe we can delve into a little discussion, maybe start throwing out some ideas, then carry on at the October meeting, which I want to keep fairly short because it's Halloween day or night, afternoon. Yeah, 31st of October. And I know at least some of us have
Grandkids,
kiddos.
I go, "Oh."
Well, kiddos or grandkids that either come to the house or, so we're going to strive to make that. In fact, if any member wants to reach out to me and ask if we postpone the October meeting and go to the next meeting, but have it earlier in November, because I don't want to get into just after Thanksgiving
and
Right.
then maybe
and then after
Thanksgiving.
Christmas.
And I might not be here Thanksgiving or Christmas.
So that's why, maybe perhaps, even though this is not part of core values, it's an extension of it, trying to figure out when to take it up. Or we could shoot for, instead of having the last Thursday of October, have the meeting be the 24th of October. Because that gets
That
us-
would be fine. Yeah. But maybe,
So,
I don't know.
Connie, could you reach out to the rest of the board members and make sure we'd be okay for the 24th of October instead of the 31st?
Okay.
And we'll just, at the end of the meeting, when I say when the next meeting is, we're going to put it as a tentative for October 24th.
That would be good.
That way we can have a longer meeting and hopefully knock this out.
Okay.
Essentially what, I'm looking for right now is, single word core value. And we can flesh out how we want to expand upon that in October's meeting. Integrity, whatever. Any,
Polite.
Any
and you got
idea?
it covered.
pardon?
I said if you're be
You
polite.
want to go ahead
Oh.
and speak into the microphone, please.
If you just treat people nicely, it's pretty much covered.
Yeah, but...
Kind.
Go ahead.
Be kind, but it
kind.
doesn't always happen that way, huh?
No,
The suggestions were respect, support, enrich, connect.
I think, for us, we want the COA to work, respond to our seniors with kindness. I don't know if you want to equate compassion to that or in between, as two separate things. Another possibility, integrity. Another possible one, are these words making sense to you, Connie? Is
Oh, yeah.
These are on my sample page too.
Right.
Dignity.
That's why I provided some of those very words.
Integrity, compassion, advocacy.
Right, all the things that, like you say, in a single word and then expanded on what those words represent.
Right.
Is to be that sort of almost the mantra for the COA, how we see ourselves conducting what we do, what we offer for services, support, the activities and all those things, the overall keywords that describe that.
Right.
And what the
Do we
standard,
have compassion
we
yet?
want to set.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because to me, the big ones are integrity, compassion,
Kindness, advocacy, that's the 4 that were mentioned, I think.
She had dignity and advocacy also.
dignity, yeah, that can be with, that's kind of interchangeable with compassion and
Yeah.
kindness.
And in a lot of ways, I also listed there on the page, the vision, well,
Yeah, our,
right, so just in reading that over,
that's our statement, mission statement.
there's a mission statement and vision for the COA, and the words should support that as well.
Yeah.
Because, respecting the seniors and helping them live their lives with dignity, and all those elements are within some of the vision and mission statements that we list that already exist. Because our mission is on our newsletter, whether people actually make note of it. But the mission of the Carver Council on Aging is to identify the needs, interests, and concerns of Carver's senior community, and in response, develop and implement programs and services that address these. The goal of these endeavors is for the senior community to maintain their independent lifestyle with dignity while enriching their quality of life. So, dignity, enrichment, it's, really like talking about support, advocacy, all of those things, apply to some of the statements of that mission statement, I think. So it's really just honing in on those key ones that best represent. And I don't think you're limited to, I think we were looking at like maybe 4. You could have more than 4 if there's something that, it makes sense.
I'm just trying to think here that. For the next meeting, why don't we go ahead and plan on expanding upon what we've just now come up with as a start?
Okay.
And those being,
These keywords:
yeah, and if you could just repeat the words again.
kindness, compassion, integrity, advocacy, and then dignity. But you said that might be part of compassion, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we'll use those as
Okay.
as a starting point for the core values, and we'll flesh those out and expand upon those at our next meeting.
That sounds good.
Good.
Does that sound like a plan?
Yeah.
Because that way, at least now we had the starting point, which is,
Yeah.
the concept word itself,
Yes.
and then we just take it from there.
And I'll just mention that all the other board members were sent to their homes that paperwork, so they should all have it in hand. Hopefully, they still do.
But you
That-
mailed them, so.
Yes, so when I refer to the next meeting date change there, that I will try to remind them about that. And
Bring
I'll
that with them.
I will resend it if necessary, just so they're prepared.
Sound like a plan, gang?
Sounds good to me.
Kathy, that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine with me.
All right.
Okay.
We don't need to take a vote on that. That's just, because this was just a discussion anyway, possibly. All right, let's move on to the director's report. You're up.
Thank you. This encompasses the months of July, August, and September, since we had a gap in time there. So the numbers, just recapping numbers, the GATRA trips in July were 801, August 883, and to date, September is at 650. That trend of August being the highest is actually a trend that repeats other years, so it seems like our August is a high point with the GATRA trips, but all the numbers are overall higher than they have been in the past. So use ridership is definitely still high. In the month of September, we exchanged an 8-passenger bus for a 12-passenger bus, so that's a new update, and that now is allowing for a lot more flexibility in the scheduling, and as a result, we're transporting even more people with that greater capacity. We still want to emphasize that we are in need of 2 bus drivers. We've been advertising, interviewing, and we just haven't found a match yet. It's a 2-day-a-week position, roughly, I would say about 8 or 9 hours per day, typically per week. So hopefully, if anyone's maybe retired and it's a 2-day-a-week job, it's actually a nice match, I think, for that schedule.
What days are they, Connie? Excuse me.
The days, for the 2 different drivers, 2 different days, a Wednesday, Thursday, and a Thursday, Friday schedule are the 2 openings we have currently. So put the word out if you can. For the meals, we had, for congregate and Meals on the Move, the home-delivered meals. In July, we had 310 congregate in-house meals, 258 in August, and we're at currently with an estimated amount of 225 for the month of September. All these numbers average out to being roughly 13 meals served daily in-house. And the Meals on the Move for July were 944. August had 806, and September was 742. And those average as 40 home-delivered meals daily through that time period. The daily attendance of July through September was on average of 45.48 people. That references
Always
that.
want to meet that
I know
point for it.
that almost half. I was like almost half a person there. That represents, when it says duplicated, is that on those days that people that had come not only on one single day, but they maybe came from multiple activities throughout. To further explain it, the unduplicated number for this time period is 151, and that represents between July and September, there was 151 individual different seniors that attended the COA, and that is an increase of 47 over the numbers of June. So that's a significant growth right there. We currently, with my senior center that records all this data, our registrations are at a total of 486 to date. The newsletters are being lowered on the physical mailing. Now we're at 776, but an increase with the versions that we are emailing, which are 718. We still distribute about 350 throughout the town of Carver itself. Just to recap on the months of July, August, and September. July, we held the annual barbecue, and want to definitely recognize and thank June and Michelle for preparing the meal, Chief Dufely and the members of the Carver Police who helped with the grilling and serving, as well as the Carver Police Union for generously donating the burgers, hot dogs, and watermelon for dessert. Thank you also to the Friends of Carver COA. They provided the entertainment with Jimbo Wilson and the Cranberry Junction Band, plus prizes for all sorts of drawings, and to all the volunteers who stepped up and helped make it a successful event. In the month of July, we also had GATRA bus trips, little day trips. One was to the Westport Winery and one to the Mashpee Commons. We had a trivia game show with Game Shows to Go with Kevin Richmond. The Jimmy Buffett Tribute Show in Lobster Bake was a bus trip up to Maine. That was a full sellout on that bus trip. And the Friends supplemented the cost on that. So all the Friends memberships, some of the funds do go to significantly discounting those bus trips. We had entomologist Blake Dinius with the Plymouth Extension come with a presentation on insect invasions. And Nancy Franks, who puts on very interesting and in-depth research on different topics. She's come for different, pretty much almost on a monthly basis. And in the month of July, she presented a presentation on shipwrecks of Cape Cod. And in August, we had 2 bus trips also, one to the JFK Hyannis Museum and Legacy Place in Dedham. We introduced a new activity, which is beach ball chair volleyball, which we are now continuing on for every Tuesday at 9:30. It is wild and crazy. There are no rules. The only rule is you have to stay seated in your seat. It is a beach ball, and it just kind of ricochets all over the place. But it's a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and I'd say this probably get the most exercise from laughing. But it's a lot of fun, and we're getting more and more people involved, which is great. Nancy Franks also presented in August a look back at amusement parks, which were all local ones, and it was very nostalgic, and a lot of people had a lot of memories to share during that presentation. Speaking of memories, we had local resident and resident celebrity, Jim Collins, who presented his memoir that was produced called My Stairway to the Stars. And it was a lovely presentation. Diane Finn and Christine, I forget her last name, but it was worked together in putting together Jim's memoir in a printed version, as well as a PowerPoint presentation that was made before a lot of friends of Jim's and a lot of people that have a lot of connections with him. And he also included one of his dance partners from years ago to be present for the presentation, and he was able to sign and sell his books there. We also had a presentation of, it was actually a performance, I should say, Willie Nelson's Songs and Stories with Matt York. That was a Carver Cultural Council program, and very popular. We hope to have him back again next year. And we rounded out the month of August with an ice cream social and a comedy show with Bill Salvatel, who was also our chair yoga instructor for the summer, and who was quite humorous. So that was a nice offering for him to give us for that particular event. September, we had Nancy Franks back again. She had a special apple-themed program, Apples, 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 which was a lot of fun. Ed O'Connor came with an AARP course, which is the Smart Driver course that we offer every year, which is a 2-day program. We had Meet the Author with Dr. Terry Reed, and she had her book Epiphanies with her, which were a bunch of inspirational short kind of stories that she discussed and involved a lot of people to act on that and their own inspirations throughout that presentation. And we most recently had a presentation through Mass Audubon of All About Hawks that was presented by naturalist Steve French. The preview for October, which is with the attached, this isn't the actual newsletter, I just printed out a copy. We should get the actual newsletters in the next day or so. There will be, we didn't have any GATRA bus trips in September due to the lack of drivers, but one is included for the month of October, which is a Carver First Responder Tour. It will be personalized visits with the police, fire, EMS, and emergency management departments in the town, and they're very cooperative to offer this program to the seniors and have this very personalized opportunity to get to see behind the scenes in these different departments and what they do. Very appreciative of them to cooperate with that. Speaking of different types of emergency management, we're also, because October is Fire Safety Month, we have a senior fire safety presentation with Carver Fire Department Assistant Deputy Fire Chief Jesse Boyle. He comes usually every year, and there's always so much information to go over, and good reminders about safety tips. Bless you.
Thank you.
Lives lost, and on that same kind of topic, lives lost and lessons learned is another Nancy Frank's presentation. This one is on the Coconut Grove fire, which took place in Boston, and all the lessons that were learned from that and the safety changes that were made, which she goes and explains a lot of that, which should be very interesting. And that's on Wednesday, October 9th at 12:30. We have our BID dietitian, Marsha Richards, coming out with another nutrition program. This one is Why is Gazpacho So Good? And she gets into all the health benefits of the soup. And hopefully we all get to sample her recipe when she makes it there on October 11th. We'll be celebrating Oktoberfest on Monday, October 21st, with a German-themed lunch at 11:30. Afterwards, we'll have a little craft of a beer mug painting at 12:30, and followed by entertainment with vocalist and keyboardist Gina O'Donoghue at 1:30. We've had Gina before. She's very lively, very interactive with the seniors. It should be a lot of fun. So that will be pretty fun on that day. Another Meet the Author. This is back with Diane Finn, who's come in before. She's going to review and present her Legend of the Cranberry Reimagined, is her newest book, and that's on Tuesday, October 22nd at 1 o'clock. On the 23rd at 11:30, we're going to have a lunch and learn, and this is sponsored by Clear Captions. They're providing free pizza for that lunch on that day, and they'll be presenting the phone service that provides captioning for the hard of hearing. And again, that's on Wednesday, October 23rd. And lastly, we have 6 Pillars of Brain Health, which is sponsored by AARP, and that presentation will be on Tuesday, October 29th at 1 o'clock. I have some updates listed on the back, just from some new things that have happened to mention. New chairs have replaced upholstered chairs in the Nutrition Center. They're made of a heavy-duty vinyl for easy cleaning and disinfecting. They're actually lighter weight than the upholstered chairs. They're much more stackable, even with armrests, which is important to have for the seniors for chairs. But the armrests also allow the chairs to slide in under the table, providing more walkable space around in the Nutrition Center itself. Interior painting is continuing at the COA with Heidi's Shine office space. There's also updated furniture and new privacy partitions that have been installed as well, so the space is looking much more professional. Open enrollment for Medicare runs from October 15th through December 7th, so seniors should call Heidi for Shine appointments for that period to review their benefits. And AARP has funded a new commercial refrigerator, and it's scheduled to be installed in the Nutrition Center kitchen on Wednesday, October 16th. There is a notation on the calendar that lunch service on that day is canceled, since the existing appliances in the kitchen will need to be disconnected and removed from the kitchen to allow for the refrigerator installation itself. But that brings me up to date.
Okay, any questions, comments for the director?
A lot of good activities, it looks like.
Got
Very
a couple.
busy.
You going to be in the building on the 16th?
Yes.
Okay, because if we have the meeting on the 24th, that's when
Oh,
we'll
yes.
get together for the,
Yes, we'll be, not to mislead, but there'll be no lunch service, but we'll be open. I actually have the crafts scheduled for earlier in that day, and the individuals that play the Rummy Cube usually play that in the
okay, so the
afternoon.
facility will be available, just no meal service.
Lunch.
No
Just
meal served.
No meal served.
Right. Okay, my other question is, on the calendar itself, on Friday, the 18th,
Yes.
you've got listed Bloom Turkey Train bus trip 9 to 7:15.
Correct. That is not it's a full bus that's already been booked, and that's just when they're leaving, so I put that on the calendar
Oh,
so
okay,
people
so it's
know.
not still available because it's sold out already?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Since
That
August, actually.
explains that then.
Because a lot of people need that little reminder about when to come for the bus trip, and I do call everybody on the list, but if they're looking at their calendar, that's a nice reminder for them.
Okay, good. Thank you. Anything else? Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good, great job. Next up, all we have in front of us is the draft of the June 27th meeting. So I will, we'll hold off on the April and May meetings to approve the minutes. But I'll take a motion to approve the minutes for Thursday, July 25th.
June 27th? So
June 27th, I'm sorry.
I make a motion
I'm
that
old.
we approve the minutes from June 27th.
And can I have a second? Even though you weren't here, you're still,
Okay.
you don't
I'll
have to have
second
been
it.
in attendance of the meeting in order to approve the minutes.
Okay, I second.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those who approve the minutes from June 27th, please signify by saying aye. No opposed, unanimous. All right. There have been, excuse me, no new business or topics anticipated by myself 48 hours in advance of the meeting. Board member comments. Elaine?
I want to thank Kathy for coming on board. As you can see, we welcome new members. We can use them. I also want to, nobody's really here except you and I, and Connie, thank you so much for your help with the Carver Night Out. I mean, that, I think, went very well. And that's all right, that's all right, you know. And, you know, with support, and I think, you know, we did get some signed up for the newsletter, and a little bit iffy at the end with the rain and the tent. But other than that,
We made through.
We did.
Kathy, again, welcome aboard. Anything you'd like to say for
Not at the
posterity, the whole
moment.
town, the millions and millions that are going to watch this on
I will
YouTube?
just watch and listen for a while.
Yeah, that's perfectly understandable. In that case, like I say, if you could just check with Mary and Helen, and I will also text them about the meeting on the 24th.
Okay.
So, depending on what I hear back from them, because neither of you have any problems with the 24th?
That's better for me than,
It's fine.
Works better for you, works better for you, probably works better for me. And so I will double check.
Do we need to check with Shelby on availability?
I will do that. There's plenty of rooms
Yeah, we can go
in
downstairs.
the town hall. We have to go downstairs, but I will check with her next week, probably at some point. And if I get good response, our next meeting will be on October 24th at 5 p.m., tentatively in this meeting room, to be determined. If you could let the gang at Area 58 know that our meeting next month is probably going to be on the 24th, I'd really, really appreciate it.
All right, I'll let them know.
Okay, thank you. Anything else anybody has to say? Getting out of here at a reasonable hour? You can all go home and watch the track of the hurricane into the
Do you have
Big Bend
anybody
area
down
of
there? I have
Florida.
some friends down in that area, they're like.
And our thoughts and prayers with those people
Yes,
because they're in for a
exactly.
rough time tonight.
Exactly.
With that, I will take a motion, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn this meeting.
I second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjourn. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Deathly silence. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.